recording because he's the one who can
Gosh,
record it.
gosh, I'm sorry again. I just
No,
started
no
recording.
worries.
Sorry.
It's
There we
just that
are.
I'm a guest.
Yes, thanks so much.
Okay, so now we can continue. In this part, you can see that there is a question written there that says, really? And you will listen to 5 recordings. Then you have 5 words, I mean, 5 emotions. We have excitement, surprise, annoyance, sarcasm, and doubt. You will try to identify for each one of the recording which emotion is being expressed by the speaker. Okay? Questions?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, so I'll play the recording, each one of them just once. Please let me know if you can listen. Let's see. Can you listen to the recording?
No.
No,
No, nothing.
No.
No, nothing.
no, nothing.
Okay, let's see how can we fix this problem. I'll try with the laptop audio. Let's see. Give me just 1 second. No, it's not working. Okay, so let's do something. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Let's continue with the second part and we can leave the practice for next class. Okay?
Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I never had this problem before with the laptop and the audio. So I really don't know how to fix this, but I'll figure it out later. So we don't lose more time. In this part, practice number 4, I would like to ask you to perform each one of the phrases with the tone that, I mean, the intonation that is written in brackets. So we have no and right, but let's try to perform these phrases with a neutral, a falling, a rising, and an authoritative tone. How can you do that? Any volunteer? Try to sound neutral, then with a falling intonation, then with a rising intonation, and then try to sound authoritative. Authoritative. Sorry. Do I have volunteers for this practical task?
I
like
think I can do it.
You think you can do it? Okay. Who's speaking?
Josefina?
Okay, Josefina, go.
The first one, I'm gonna start with the no. No, 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 no. Come on, authoritative. And then with the ride, 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 ride.
Super. Thank you very much. That was perfect. Anybody else?
I guess I can try.
Okay, who's speaking?
Claudio.
Okay, Claudio, go ahead.
Okay, I start with the no. No, 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 no. The right, 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 right. Is that good?
Super.
I,
Thank you very much, Claudio. And I'll ask for a third volunteer. Anybody in the class? Guillermo. Go, Guillermo. With a neutral, a falling, a rising,
Okay.
and an authoritative
No,
intonation.
right.
Okay.
No, right. No, right. No, right.
Super. Thank you very much, Guillermo. Okay, let's continue now with a different part of the topic, which is tonality. I'm sure you remember what tonality is about, but I would like to refresh your memory. So, tonality is the division of the spoken material into meaningful chunks. There will be an intonation pattern associated with each chunk. These chunks are known as intonation phrases or IPs. Each IP in an utterance has its own intonation pattern. The symbols and I don't know how you mentioned those symbols, Professor Ramirez. Could you help me with that? What's
Uh,
actually the name for the symbols when we divide intonation phrases?
when we segment IPs, we use the vertical marks or vertical bars.
Oh, okay, vertical bars. Thank you.
Yes, sure.
So we have one vertical bar and two vertical bars to represent the boundaries between IPs. And in this example, you can see, because I love languages, I'm studying intonation. When I've finished this book, I'll know more about it. So the pauses when somebody is speaking can let us know the end and the beginning of an intonation phrase. Now let's practice tonality. I'll play a recording and you will try to place the vertical bars on at the beginning and at the end of each intonation phrase. Okay? Questions, comments?
Are we doing it the whole paragraph or we will be stopping at some point in the middle
Okay,
of the.
I'll send the paragraph. I'll write it in the chat box. You can copy this paragraph in a Word file or a notes file, and then you can place the vertical bars to divide between intonation phrases, okay? What we're doing now, it's called chunking. So according to what you can hear, you can place the vertical bars. Let me send you the paragraph. Okay, can you see it? It's in the chat box.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so please copy that in a Word file. And once you listen to the recording, you can start placing the vertical bars for each one of the intonation phrases. So what we're doing now, it's called chunking. Once you're ready, please let me know so I can play the recording.
Can you tell me what chunking means?
Yes, of course. Okay, let's go back to tonality. Chunking, it's the same as when we say that we divide the spoken material into meaningful chunks. Every time that a person speaks and then pauses what he's saying, there is an utterance that we call an IP. Okay? So, for instance, I gave an example. Because I love
Okay,
language,
okay.
I have a pause. I'm studying intonation. Pause. When I finish this book, pause. I'll know more about it. Can you see?
Okay, I got lost with the concept, but now I'm right. Thanks.
Okay, so are you ready so I can play the recording? And you can mark the beginning and the end of an IP.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's see. How is the
Sorry, but maybe your phone causes interference with the microphone of the computer.
Oh, once again. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let
Uh,
me fix this problem, okay? So we can complete the activity.
Maybe we could keep talking about the theory because you're having issues with the sound, but it's okay.
Yes,
We
of
can keep
course.
practicing.
I'm going to continue. So we can leave the practical activities for next class, if that's okay. I'm sorry for the problems. Okay, let's continue
But
with the next part. Okay, then we have the concept of tonicity. Speakers use intonation to highlight some words as important for the meaning they wish to convey. There are two words where the speaker focuses the hearer's attention. In this case, each tone unit has to have one tonic syllable. Within each tone unit, we can find four components. We have a prehead, a head, a tonic syllable, and a tail. Now let's define each one of the concepts of prehead, head, tonic syllable, and tail. The prehead is composed of all the unstressed syllables in an intonation phrase preceding the first stressed syllable. So, as in the example, we have the prehead, which is in a. Those are the unstressed syllables preceding the stressed syllables of little des than an. Then we have the head. A head is all that part of an intonation phrase that extends from the first stressed syllable up to the nucleus, but it does not include the nucleus. So let's see in the example, we have that the nucleus is those, and before the nucleus, we have the head, which is give me those, and in the third example, it's the same, just showing the full head, Billy called to give me those. So the nucleus is the first stressed syllable. Sorry, the head is a part of the intonation phrase that extends from the first stressed syllable up to the nucleus, but it doesn't include the nucleus. Let's see. What's the tonic syllable or nucleus, as I said before? It is the most important syllable in a tone unit. It is the syllable that carries the most important stress of that unit. In English, there can be only one tonic syllable per unit. So as you can see in the example, we have the prehead, the head, the tonic syllable or nucleus, and the tail. In a little less than an hour. So what's the tonic syllable or nucleus? Can anybody tell me?
The letter H when say little less than an hour, then an.
Little less than an is
Oh,
the
no, no,
head.
no. Are you talking about nucleus? Yes.
Yes, the
Hours.
nucleus, or you can say tonic syllable.
Okay, hour.
Hour, exactly. And then we have the tail. So what's the tail? It often happens that some syllables follow the nucleus, and any syllable between the nucleus and the end of the intonation phrase is called the tail. So as in the example, we have look, which is the nucleus, and at it will be the tail. Okay? All what is between the nucleus and the end of the intonation phrase is the tail. So I'm sorry that we cannot develop this activity because it's a listening activity. We're going to continue with a final discussion. Okay, so I would like you to share your comments with the rest of the class. According to what we learned today, what can you say? Why is intonation important?
Can I go? Can I answer that?
Yes, Claudio, please.
Okay. I would say that intonation is important because you are emphasizing in what you are actually trying to say and not what the people, the person that is hearing you will understand. And it's important to communicate yourself accurately. I I would say that.
Okay, thank you very much, Claudio, to emphasize what you're trying to say and to communicate yourself accurately, right? Anybody else? Why is intonation important?
Because it
Or
can be
question number
used.
two.
eh,
Oh,
the,
yes, Guillermo, go.
because it can be used as a complement for the verbal communication, which is really important because it helps us in the same way that my classmate said before.
Okay, Guillermo, thank you very much for your comment. Anybody else? Or let's continue with number two. What happens if we don't have intonation? If we don't apply intonation when we speak, what can happen?
I think you will probably sound like a robot, or and people won't understand what you're trying to say.
Exactly, we may sound like a robot or monotonous. And maybe we're not, if we don't have intonation or we don't apply intonation when we speak, we won't express the emotions, right? That we want to express or the mood in which we are. Anybody else? Question number two. Who would like to share an answer for question number two? What happens if we
Uh,
don't have intonation?
I think that if you don't use intonation, it can be a little bit ambiguous what you're saying. So depending on the listener, he or she may misunderstand what the speaker is saying, and that may cause some troubles.
Exactly. So we may sound ambiguous or be misunderstood. Let's go with number three. How can you improve your intonation? What can you say?
Practicing the word you're emphasizing, or trying to hear other natural speakers talking, native speaker, I mean, and try to see what are they trying to say and try to imitate maybe uh, the intonation.
Exactly, Claudio. To listen to native speakers and to try to imitate their accents and their intonation pattern, that's a perfect way to improve our intonation and to practice intonation. Josefina, would you like to say something?
Yes, I was thinking about being aware of what you're trying to say, regardless of, I mean, the words. But if you're trying to encourage someone, or if you're trying to advise something, or if you're trying to do something, try to be aware of what you're trying to say, and or persuade someone, try to be aware of the things you're saying and the way you're saying it, as well as the vocabulary you're using, and try to be aware about the rising intonation and the falling intonation, so you can improve your language skills and your communicative skills as well.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Josefina. Great comment. Okay, and finally, open question for all of you pre-service teachers. How would you encourage your students to learn more and practice the topic of intonation? Think about it.
Maybe asking them to have an actual conversation between them with different intonations, so you know can realize what are you trying to say. Comparing maybe examples for the questions and all that.
Okay, yes, that's a very good idea to have actual conversation with different intonation patterns. Yes, perfect. And to compare what they're trying to say. Anybody else? How would you encourage your students to learn more and practice the topic of intonation?
I think that I would make them read maybe a piece of like a paragraph and record themselves. So when they listen to that recording, they can see if they are using the right intonation or if they are expressing with their voice what the text or the paragraph is saying.
Yes, exactly, Maria Francisca. That's a very good idea. Sometimes you can play a recording of a native speaker reading a paragraph or saying something, and then you can try the same patterns of intonation and record yourself and compare both recordings. That's an excellent practice for intonation. Anybody else? Imagine you're teaching intonation, what I'm doing now. How would you encourage your students to learn and practice?
I think a good way to improve in some way intonation in Spanish and in English too, it's by theater, like doing some kind of play, because when you are acting, you have to in some way make everything more dramatic and using a lot of intonation, and that's a good watch and play something dramatic to practice this.
Oh, that's a very good answer, Catherine. Thank you very much. Because in order to be more dramatic, you have to express your emotions, right? Or in order to express your emotions, you have to be more dramatic, right? So, anybody else who would like to share a comment?
Maybe I don't know how to say it in English. Haciendo mímica of different actor making different scenes from different movies or series.
Yes, that's also an excellent idea. How do we say mimicas in English? Do you know the word for mimica?
Is it mimics or is that Spanglish?
It's miming or mime. That's the word. But it's an excellent idea. Thank you very much. It was Guillermo who said that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, my apologies to the class. I'm sorry for because I couldn't play the recording, but I hope we could continue with the practice next class. And this is the end of my presentation. I hope you had enjoyed it and hope to see you next Friday. I don't know if Mr. Ramirez has any comment for the class.
Oh, just congratulations for everyone, for you, for all the participants.
intonation is not really something that we come to learn when we are learning English at elementary or high school. So it's something that comes up when we are learning a language at this level, like in university. So and um, it's really crazy because in general, intonation has a lot to do with the possibility of being misunderstood by speakers. If you're not using the right intonation, you may be misunderstood by people. So it's crazy that intonation doesn't have the importance. The importance is not given to it when we are in a more elementary or high school levels. So and also a reminder, I would just insist that it conveys emotions and attitude. So if you want to be sarcastic, if you want to give more emphasis to something, or if you really and you're really honest in asking for information, you basically need to use the most suitable or appropriate intonation for whatever the communicative situation is. If you're not using the right one, you may be misunderstood, and not only with native speakers, because remember that now English is being used more than by non-native speakers than by native speakers in the world. So we are we're more we're more now non-native speakers than native speakers in the world, speakers of English. Okay, so that's something to remember. It's not just about pronouncing each individual vowel sound or consonant sound exactly like a native would, because I mean, uh, sounding like a native speaker it could be your objective, or it may not be your objective, or someone else's, right? So it's going beyond. So it's something that's really crazy if you think about it. You were never told about this maybe before in other levels, and now it becomes so important. I think it's really weird, at least for me. And I've been teaching this for some years, but it's still some really crazy phenomenon. That's all. Sorry. Thank you for your class, for your lesson, Miss Sophia, and for the students who really had a wonderful participation today. Really, really enjoyed the level of participation today. Thank you again.
Yes. As you said, thank you very much to all the students who participate. And hope you have a
Thanks to
wonderful
you.
weekend.
It's a really nice class.
Bye,
Okay.
Miss. Have a great day.
I'm happy to
And
hear
also,
that.
Mr. Ramirez. Bye.
See you.
Thank you for you too as well. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
everyone.
Miss.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
nice day.
Have a
Bye.
Wonderful
wonderful
weekend.
weekend.
Bye bye. Thank you too.
Bye. Have a nice weekend. Thank you so much.